These.
Okay.
Can you see me? I cannot see you.
No, I can see myself, but that's about it.
No screen share is working. All right, Stan. What's up, Stan?
Hey, Stan. Funny jokes. Someone.
He's getting his joke material from our show. All right.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, because, I mean...
He don't make videos. I think I've been subscribed to him for a long time, but I don't think Stan does videos. But yeah, it is funny, some of the stuff that you have to talk about. We're duct tape and masks and yeah.
Funny some.
Corona will get here before the chat starts. Well, we don't start till 9:30. There, Stan. You got posted that at 9:01.
9:30. Oh my goodness, it's late for you.
Yeah. Got to feed water all the animals. Do all that good stuff.
When's the switch on the clocks? Is that in April, I think? Right?
Yeah, I think the rollback.
Then you'll be at 8 o'clock your time.
Yeah, we'll only be 2 hours behind you.
Well, I'm just thinking because then instead of 7:30 in the morning for me, it'd be 6:30 in the morning for me. So when that happens, I might have to be a little late.
What's up, Tone? How's Tactical Tony doing?
Oh, I'm so glad he joined. I wanted to ask him, dude. I know you're kind of secretive and shit, so don't answer if you don't think you can. But I wanted to know why you chose where you chose. I don't think I asked you that before.
Send him a link. Saints and Sappers reporting, sir. We're pirates. Arr, matey. Good. Up in the Ozarks, made it. All right. Tony made it out. Made it out of Nevada.
That's cool.
Looks like his destination. No Wi-Fi. Yeah. Get ready to eat that. That sucks, buddy. I'm sorry to tell you about that. Yeah. It's hell.
Yeah, that does blow. I've had enough experience with that to know I don't like it.
And it only gets worse.
That's cool, though. I won't send him a link because I guess that's why he's saying he only has his phone and no Wi-Fi. But hey, man, if you can, why'd you choose that place? Was it somebody? You got a great tip on why everybody should move there? Someone's waiting for us. Anyway, I digress. What are we talking about today?
I have no clue. Just wanted to have a little chat this morning. I put COVID-19 because everyone wants to talk about that, so we might get some interesting.
Usually comes up, doesn't it? Yeah. Comes up a lot.
I wonder if we have anybody on the inside that can give us information on what's really going on.
So I looked into a little bit more of the whole Fed lowering the interest rate. Yeah, I think they lowered it. Right? That was an interesting thing because I've been watching a lot of silver videos lately because I'm in the market to buy, and they're talking about it on their channels too, about how they're basically saying that they're keeping the price of silver down to try to not make it panic. But that you don't lower interest rates like that unless something's wrong. I mean, if the economy's booming like everybody says it is, like Trump says it is, then you raise the interest rates because everybody can afford it at that point. You only lower them if the economy is crashing or not doing so well. So I thought that was quite interesting. Cheap land, know a couple folks. Hey, there you go. That's exactly what. Yeah, that's awesome. Tony knows some people and has good jobs out there. I haven't looked at the job market out there, and unfortunately, I don't know anybody personally out there. So I wouldn't be able to. Well, now I do, I guess, right? I've seen a few people like us, though, that are out there on YouTube that are always find it interesting.
Interviews all week.
Wow.
Well, I mean, you have a good work ethic,
Yeah.
and you're adaptable. So I mean, I think you do good, man. I mean, I don't doubt that one bit.
Yeah, it's really nice to see, man. Somebody got out. It ain't easy to do. I know. I did that kind of thing with Wisconsin, leaving Wisconsin. I lived in Wisconsin for 10 years. And the day that we left, we just packed up the little Mustang that we had with everything we had, our kid and our cat, and drove straight down to Arizona. It took us, like 2 days. Very cramped. Left a whole bunch of shit behind and had our friends that were living up in Wisconsin send it to us through like one of these packing services later on. Sometimes that's what you gotta do, man. You just gotta say, fuck it, let's go.
Yeah, sometimes that's just what it takes. I mean, so they're reporting today that the problem with telling sick workers to stay home is that even with the coronavirus spreading, labor tax laws and little sick leave mean that many people can't afford to skip work. So there's a big article, and I will post it up. We'll bring up some more information here because we're supposed to be a farming channel. Teach you how to farm. But you still have to deal with a lot of illnesses and sickness if you have animals or, chickens, ducks, cows, pigs, horses.
I have a little experience with goats, and chickens, and horses, and cattle. My mom's side of the family were all cattle ranchers in Idaho. Still are, technically.
Oh, well. That's good.
Yeah. It was fun growing up, going on that, or to go round them up, and then we come and brand them. That was a smell I'll never forget.
Burning flesh.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't smelt that in years, but if I caught a whiff of that on the wind, I'd know exactly what.
You would already know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a funky smell.
Yeah.
So, let's see here. I can't. So I'm looking at the Atlantic, and I can't share because obviously something is wrong. I've tried to correct all my problems, restart everything, and it's still not working. So I'll just post up some links that I'm looking at, and then in the chat, and you can go check them out yourself if you wish.
Yeah. Wish I could screen share because I can see me on the screen. The only thing I can do though is turn my camera around to my computer monitor and do it that way. But
yeah, we're still early in our days of this project, so we'll have it worked out before we roll out the big stories and all the good stuff. So,
have you ever gotten a booster for your internet?
Right now I'm working with a company and trying to get them to bring it out here, but they want $32,000 to run it out here. So
No, there's a thing that because I was running on cell service in Nashville, and you can contact your cell provider, and they usually have what they call as a booster, and you put it somewhere in your house, and it's either free or under $100, depending on your carrier. But it basically boosts the signal, amplifies the signal that your house gets. Might help.
Yeah, we have that, and it only helps like if you're inside the house, it'll give you like instead of 0 bars, you get 2.
There you go. Well, anything's better than nothing.
Yeah, so that's the whole problem with doing YouTube in general the past 4 or 5 years is because I don't have any way to access good internet. So, but I'm working on it. I've contacted companies and we're trying to work out a deal to get it put out here.
Just a check.
Yeah, no, it's always, yeah. Somebody may need that information. It's always good to know. That's something I don't think about because we have it,
Yeah.
So the Atlantic posted up that article I posted, but I can't. I'm looking for the health article that they put out that I was reading, and then of course we'll go check the Drudge Report and see what's going on over there.
Yeah. I need my news fix.
Yeah, it's the only time I have a chance to. All right, so yeah, the article's posted February 28th, but it's basically tells you about why we're not going to send people home. So I put more thought process into why they're not telling us to wear masks, and of course the first responders and stuff need the stuff before we do because they're going to be in imminent danger. So I understand that they're going to need it more than we do, right? But if you're going to go be out helping people, you have a sick person, you're going to need the stuff. So all the panic buying crap is just bogus to me. But yeah, T1 line is pricey. I don't know how much I really want to invest here, so that's why we have another project going on, and so this might not be the primary.
Thought about the whole satellite internet? Because, as I said, it didn't work out for me, but maybe.
Yeah, no, they're the same way. They cut you off, like you get so many gigs of data, and then they shut you down. And so just the kids doing homework and stuff, because I have 2 in college, then, yeah, they'll shut it down just by doing their homework and stuff, submitting stuff online in college.
Yeah, I remember their limit wasn't very high either. It was like 1 or 2 gigs, which you can do on a YouTube binge one night.
Yeah. Yeah, I get notifications all the time. You're within 15 gigs of your mobile hotspot data usage.
Bullshit. It's bullshit, man.
Well, originally everything was unlimited, and then they went to not unlimited, and you had to do contracts. And then the cell phone company said, "Oh, we'll go back to unlimited, but we'll limit the hotspot usage because hotspot usage used to be unlimited as well."
Yeah.
But people were, letting 10 people use their hotspot and just burning up the network in that area, and some places couldn't keep up with it. So any new updates from anybody else out there in the UB2B land?
Yeah, is there any interesting news articles that Stan or Tony or anybody else is seeing out there?
It seems like everybody's talking about Bernie and Biden, delegate count.
Do you think they're going to screw Biden, or do you think they're going to screw Bernie over again? Because it looks like that to me. Because everybody who's dropping out is going and supporting the vice president. I don't even remember his name.
Oh, Mike Pence.
No, Obama's vice president.
Oh, Biden. Joe Biden.
Yeah, everybody's supporting Biden and not supporting. No, I don't know. Maybe I haven't been paying that close attention, but has anybody supported Bernie that's dropped out of the race?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that. I don't keep up with that because it's just a bunch of hocus pocus too.
Right. I just find it funny that because he's winning the nomination, but he's going to lose it again because they're going to take it away from him again.
I did read an article that Bloomberg is trying to get the Puerto Rican population to vote for him. He set up a big candidacy place in Puerto Rico to try to get people to vote for him there and put him in the primaries.
Mhm.
Oh, Amazon employee tests positive for virus. What virus did they test positive for? Let's check this
Dude, I order from Amazon way too much.
out. Everybody does. Hell, even Andy Frisella. If you guys don't know who Andy Frisella is, he does the motherfucking CEO project, and he also does Real as Fuck, and it's on Spotify. He's a entrepreneur, and he teaches you how to do business. So if you want to check that out, I don't get anything for it. That's something I listen to while I'm working throughout the day. He's a fat kid and lives on a farm and decided he wanted to have a business and have nice things. So he still farms, but he has like a multi-million-dollar supplement business and stuff now. So check him out. CNBC. Amazon employee in Seattle office tests positive for coronavirus. March 3rd, 2020 at 9:54 p.m. So,
And the stock market crashes. I mean, seriously, that goes down, we're all fucked. Yeah, Tone, I kind of agree with you on that. I'm under the understanding, though, that the best way to get a Republican to be a conservative is to put a Democrat in office. Because every time you get a Republican in office, they want to prove to the Democrat how good of people they are and how they can be flexible, right? The only time a Republican isn't flexible is when a Democrat's in office, which is strange. At least that I've noticed.
oh, so this morning, apparently, the article was posted this morning. Shocking moment. Man, 25, wearing coronavirus face mask, passed out on sidewalk in packed New York sidewalk. I can't speak today, man.
No, that's all right.
So they got all kinds of people surrounding this guy with no masks on. But he's laid out. He's laid out, boy, on the sidewalk.
Share that link.
Did I share that one already? That's the U.S.
I don't know. Maybe.
No, I have not. Okay, I'll share. Yeah, it shows like a little video. People, everybody has phones these days, so everybody posting videos.
Also, I don't want to skip over Stan's comment. He's asking what are some of the best air intake filters for a home, NBC, etc.
HEPA filters.
HEPA filters.
Yes. They're a little bit more expensive, but you use them in your home and it helps catch viruses. So if somebody in the house has it, it'll catch in the filter. It helps filter out a lot of stuff. UV light. Some of the new central heating and air units that are more pricey, you can put a UV sterilizer in there. So whenever your air turns on, it'll sterilize the air so that you don't have anything funky floating around if it bypasses the filter somewhere.
I bet you this guy. Sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead, my bad.
No, I don't want to interrupt you on something like that because that's pretty important. But this guy is like only, 25 years old?
Mm-hmm.
I kind of wonder if it's a stunt, because really this virus is targeting mostly the elderly and the young.
Yeah, but that's causing mass panic. That's a felony. So if he's really faking the funk, he's
people don't care, bro. Anything to be famous, you know that.
I mean, famous and in prison, or he better hope he had something. I
mean, it depends on how long, right? Maybe. First of all, I don't even think a lot of these kids think that far in advance. But even if they do, they're thinking book deals, going around doing tours of why did you do it, and they're gonna milk the fame out of that. Now, I'm not saying he's faking it, but I'm saying maybe he is because 25 years old, probably got a decent immune system. He does look, of Orient descent from the little bit of picture I can see, but. No, just my thoughts.
Yeah. So I want to jump off topic just for a second and, send out thoughts and prayers again to the people in Tennessee because it's looking like there's 24 dead and there's still people missing. So there's a lot of good footage out. Destruction. People are taking their drones out and flying around. One couple said they survived in a bathtub as their house flies through the air. They said it reminded them of like the Wizard of Oz.
Okay, I haven't been watching the news, man. What's going on in Tennessee? A tornado?
Yeah, a tornado touched down in Nashville yesterday.
Oh my goodness!
In the early morning, I believe it's early morning. So it's a common occurrence. I won't say common, but we're very aware of it here. Most people have some sort of shelter, whether it be an actual tornado shelter or.
I mean, I can see in Indiana. I mean, Indiana is definitely in the tornadoes belt, but I wouldn't have thought Tennessee. You know, we got the mountains that usually breaks that shit up. But,
yeah, I mean, it's like we watched some show that says, you know, what would happen if a tornado hit Chicago and stuff like that. So, I mean, it's really devastating. I mean, out here in the countryside. So I can only imagine inside the city, you know.
right.
But I just wanted to touch on that because I mean that definitely hits close to home because we have a place in Tennessee and a place in Cherokee, North Carolina. So, and we have family in both places, not in Nashville, but. So back to our regularly scheduled talk. Supposedly a North Carolina scientist holds the key to the cure. And said he's locked it down in the lab. And let's see. And the University of North Carolina Chapel Hill campus. It came and he got a vial, 500 microliter vial, wrapped inside plastic pouches placed in a third plastic container, all packed in dry ice. And it says, a team of scientists, a team now, protected head to toe in Tyvek bodysuits with battery-powered respirators, which is what I talked about yesterday, the PAPRs, P-A-P-R, opened the vials, got down to work, and haven't stopped since. So they're trying to figure it out. But apparently there's 2 different strains of the virus, so I'll post that link up too so you can read that so you don't have to hear me stutter and chop all that up. Need power to operate UV light, though. Yeah, Stan, you do. You're right. What is the name of the company that makes the shelter air systems? I think it's a Swiss company. And those are for NBC, so nuclear, biological, chemical. So Atlas Bunker Guy, I don't know if you've ever seen him or heard of him. I always get recommended his videos. I'm not subscribed to him, but he sells those systems, and he's on point with all that stuff. They said they have 15% of what they need. Let's see what did Saint say here. Let me roll up. U.S. has only a fraction of the medical supplies it needs to combat the virus. 7 billion respirators and face masks. Most of them were made in China. Yeah, actually, I've seen a lot of people posting Chinese N95 masks on eBay and Mercari. So any of the selling apps, people are selling them. So I don't know why.
I don't know. I would think that like the old ones, though, not necessarily a risk for having the virus, if that's what you're thinking. I mean, it is kind of ironic that you're buying something from China where this whole thing originated from. But I mean, I wouldn't worry about the virus being in stuff that's been on the shelf for a few months.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying but they had Chinese writing on them. They were in Mandarin or whatever. So like, you know, one, I'm wondering why you have something in Mandarin in the United States. I mean, I guess it could be for the Chinese population that live here, but
have you ever shopped at Walmart, bro?
I've never seen anything that said, you know, it was all in Mandarin and then just said N95, you know.
I mean, I don't know. I haven't looked at the packaging enough, but usually it has a little bit of a couple languages, right?
Yeah.
I've seen Chinese on a lot of things. It's just not the main language unless I'm going down the Oriental aisle, I guess, for getting my noodles.
Stan says, get out your old stills, start making that alcohol. Make sure you sanitize everything with a high-grade corn liquor. Most people be drinking that, Stan, I don't think.
I do enjoy some vodka. Apparently, when I was, I don't like going off topic a little bit, but since he's talking about this, I'm on the keto diet, and drinking alcohol is like pure friggin' sugar. But there is a thing, because I'm supposed to avoid sugar, but you can have certain sugars. One of them is sugar alcohol. Like that doesn't count for sugar. I don't understand it. I don't know why. My wife could probably go on for an hour telling you why this is. I don't know. But certain alcohols um, are just plain sugar. But like moonshine and vodka is what's considered alcoholic sugar or alcohol sugar
Hmm.
or sugar alcohol. Sorry, and that is totally fine. So I got to get me some moonshine and some lots of vodka. Unfortunately, I live in the city, so I think they frown upon me setting up a still in my front yard.
Actually, it's funny you say that because I forget the guy's original name. Like Lowbuck Prepper was his original name, I think.
Yeah, I know a little bit.
And whenever he first started this channel, he was distilling it with a countertop distiller and in his house. So, I mean, if there's a will, there's a way. You know, that's what the ingenuity. You know, if they say you can't have it, you can. But you know, of course, he didn't say that that's what he was making, but we know that's what he was making. So, deductive reasoning led to the fact that that's what he was making because he was always sipping on it, and it wasn't water. So, yeah, Stan says he watches Atlas. Yeah, that's the only place I know for sure. To get those, you could probably contact the manufacturer. Don't go blind for bathtub gin. Yeah, you got to pour out the heads.
Dude, you're sharing some really out there links. This last link that you shared, I went to it, and they're immediately, and I'm going to share this for people out there. Hold on, let me flip it around. This is the screen that pops up. We see that you're using an ad blocker. Ads allow us to feed you your daily addiction to the world's greatest news, sports, and gossip. So I'm running an ad blocker because of reasons.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm also on a VPN for reasons. And I tell you what, man, these sites don't like that shit at all. So
apparently Tony's not the only one leaving Vegas because there's another article that says what happens in Vegas if no one stays in Vegas.
It goes back to being a desert, I guess.
Somebody also posted up saying that nursing home residents are being held hostage in their rooms. It's not being held hostage. I mean, if this virus is spreading, you don't want, and they don't have the air duct systems to quarantine that. And like I said, just I guess anywhere. Let me check on. Hold on, I'll click on the article. Share that too. So I know I pick on CNAs, but it's a thankless job. But when my wife started her pursuit into healthcare, she started out as a CNA, and they basically don't tell you. The nurses don't. Nobody tells you, to wear your PPE. And this may have changed, but the only PPE they give you, if you went into somebody that had contagious, is probably a mask, not a face shield, not a gown, and you get gloves, of course, so.
Right.
So, I mean, right there's a loophole that needs to be fixed, because if you're going in to take care of somebody and they have something, and the worst part about it is they don't have to tell you that they have the stuff. It's not required by law to say, hey, this patient in room 4 has, tuberculosis or something. So,
Right.
Stan says if you don't have a VPN, might as well go out in public.
I'm surprised though. I never had a VPN until recent. So I had this computer. I decided with this new build of a computer that I have that I wanted to protect it as much as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And if I want to do something on the internet that I don't want people to know about, I don't want people to know about it, obviously. So I decided to get the VPN, and then I had that issue with Optics Planet where they ping your IP address, and if you don't live inside the United States, they ask you a whole bunch of personal questions of what's your purpose for buying this object, and what do you plan on doing with it, and why are you in this other country when you say, you know, I'm like, oh man.
Yeah, that's an ITAR law.
Yeah, I
You
heard,
know,
you know, I figured that out, right? But that's still bullshit. Like, why are you okay with it? And it's not even for a gun part. Like, it wasn't even a gun, right? It was for a part of a gun that without the rest of the gun, I couldn't do anything about. And I gave you my shipping address. It's not like I'm asking you to ship it outside of the United States.
well, so a little background on that real quick. There's actually people that live in the United States that go around and collect stuff, and then they'll send it overseas. One example is disposable cell phones. Okay, if in the United States, if you buy a disposable cell phone, most of the time they'll give you a 5-minute free card, right? So I don't know if anybody's ever purchased one, and then they would send truckloads of these things overseas, and then they'd use them for IEDs, use them for communications outside of just regular communication to do terrorist activity and stuff, illegal stuff. So that's one of the reasons. Plus, we don't want the hands of our enemies to end up with the latest, greatest night vision or stuff like that. So, or to arm,
So for that, I'm going to give up my privacy of where I'm located and why I want it.
No,
Bullshit.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that's the reasoning behind it. But so, it's like that whole thing. One guy fucks it up or one gal fucks it up for everybody. So.
Yeah, that's the whole Patriot Act all over again. It wasn't very patriotic, and they're not going to catch anybody doing it this way either. Because if I wasn't using a VPN, I could have bought a ton of them and sent them anyway. You know? And now, if I did have a VPN, which I did, and I found out about that, I just go somewhere else. Not all the sites do it. Some do, some don't. So how much of a law is it? Because apparently it's not nationwide, because it only happens in Illinois, as far as I'm aware. So, I don't know. Not to mention, I could go to a gun show and buy 50 triggers and send those overseas easily enough. Maybe customs should be doing their job.
Yeah, and they do. That's also another thankless job. Like some of the stuff that comes in here, man. And I get it. I get both sides of the spectrum. Being that I'm from military and I have a lot of family in law enforcement, so I mean, I get both spectrums. Like I see both points of view, and it's not fair. It's not right. And but at what extent do you give up your freedoms, to be protected? I mean, you can't, right? So there's a real gray area. How about that? Not a thin line, a gray area.
Well, we're just programmed to think, oh, yeah, it's for safety reasons. Obviously, I need to give up my privacy a little bit here to make sure that they don't, bring down another plane into a tower. Then you hear about TSA only getting 10% of the guns and the bombs that actually go through their checkpoints and letting 90% of it go through. Yet I'm still getting strip searched pretty much for walking through with a bulge in my butt.
Yeah. I mean, we could go off on that for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. It's
that's a sore topic.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I won't fly. I won't fly. I refuse to fly. I haven't flown for 15 years just because of that. All
these laws they pass and all these things they make you go through and all the privacy that you have to give up is all for show. It's absolutely for show, not doing hardly anything for your safety. And, it's been said before, but you give up safety, you give up some of your freedom for safety. You don't deserve either one of it. Anyway, sorry for getting around that rabbit hole.
Hey, this is the everything chat today. I don't care. It's like just everybody get their opinions out there. So let's go here to the comments again. Morning, Brandon. He's our non-American counterpart. He didn't say where he's from, but he's not from America. So good morning to you, or good afternoon, or whatever you're at. Stan says, "Do you know preppers, natural-born hermits? We look for excuse for isolation." So I guess he's saying he likes isolation. I mean, if I could stay home, I would. I hate going to town. I hate going, to get anything. I'm sponsored by my wife. That's about it. Yep. If you have a wife, that's pretty much it. Happy wife, happy life. Some of the new routers have VPN capability built in. Okay, that's good to know. Hillary's private servers. Yeah, we're all going to get killed now. You're going to get droned there. Thanks, Stan.
Yeah.
We're on Hillary's hit list now.
It's a lot, Stan.
Yeah, we're all doomed now. I'd rather drive to. Yeah, I do too, Stan. It's a pain, but you get to see so much more of the countryside that you wouldn't. And if you take the back roads and not just the main highways,
Oh, I love driving, dude.
You get to see more of America.
That was one of the reasons why I got into driving truck was, for Schneider, because that was just a road trip that I was getting paid for the most part, bro. And I really miss doing that. But yeah, I mean, it is a pain because, if I want to go see Irish, it's going to take me like 3 days and, a couple nights at a hotel. Instead, if I flew there, it's 4 hours maybe?
Yeah, ish. Yeah. Stan also says, how real do you think the numbers are anyway? I'm going to call BS on it because they're never going to tell you the real numbers. One, look at the panic that's already incited. Panic buying. That just really works my nerves, man. Like I just want to slap people because, okay, so let's say I had an extra $10,000. I went out and bought all the masks, right? So you're taking from your fellow brothers and sisters in your country or your area, and then you're going to try to jack it up 50, 60 times. I don't think that's right. There's going to be people who say that it is, and that's just how it rolls. But, I mean, I would prefer to help you. I mean, hence the garden channel that I've been doing, than to try to rob you. Because there's no honestly earned money versus, theft. I mean, that's basically
what got somebody who's wanting to take advantage of people's ill preparedness, right?
Yeah, or
they
lack of knowledge. Most people don't even know,
Well, technically, these people should have known. They should have been prepared. They should give a shit, but they don't because they're too busy on their phones and on social media to give a crap about anything that's actually real inside this world. And then when they get scared, that's when they're, oh crap, I'm not prepared. I've been spending all this time trying to buy Supreme t-shirts, and now I don't have any gas mask or whatever. Well, now it's too late, right? The time to prepare is over. And then you have the people who know that there are a lot of people like that and they're going to take advantage of it. Both sides are wrong in this scenario,
Yeah, but there's a special place in hell for people like that, though.
Granted, I think instead of jacking prices up, they should, put out like a limit of how many per person, but that really only works until somebody knows somebody with enough money.
Well, and they did, most stores put a limit of 10, right? But that limit only limits you to how many you can buy at a time, right? So if you go to self-checkout, it's not in the self-checkout, right? So if you buy 100, the self-checkout's not going to say, oh, no, you only get 10.
Yeah. And as I said, though, if you know somebody that works there, believe me, you can get more than 10. I've done that with other stuff, not during crisis, but.
Yeah, I don't believe the stats from China. Anyway, I don't believe anything comes out of China. My super wise grandfather once told me, he said, what was it? Believe none of what you hear and half of what you see. So.
Well, when it comes from the government, no matter what government it's coming from, I don't believe any of it. Like, why are you telling me this? What are you trying to hide? Kind of thing. I don't know. I'm getting more and more conspiracy theory every day. Like, I think Kansas hillbilly pepper's rubbing off real good now.
God rest his soul. Yeah. We'd be up 24/7.
Yeah. Riddle girl, aren't you supposed to be driving?
Oh, you done got busted, girl. We're going to have to turn you into the 5-0. When's a good time to start stocking up on supplies? Yes, now.
Yesterday, most likely. Yeah,
Well,
there you go, Stan. A year or more ago.
and this is what I'm trying to do with the whole gardening thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want you to have to panic. I want you to be able to go in your small yard and to do this stuff. Like, that's the whole point of this. It's not to fearmonger you, because that's not what it's about. Like, we've gotten away from farming, gardening, and even with enough acreage, a quarter of an acre, you can produce all your own food if you have to, So,
Yep.
and a quarter of an acre is small as 60 by 60 square, 60 foot by
Yeah.
60 foot.
I'd say
I'm
that's
using
probably a lot of people's backyard, in the suburbs.
Yeah, and if you do a little, you're more prepared than somebody that's not, and then you already have a good knowledge of what you need to do, or it's always adaptive learning when it comes to stuff like that. One side of your house may be hotter during the summertime than the other side, so you can grow heat-loving plants or heat-tolerant plants on the side with a lot of heat, and then cool-tolerant plants on the side that has more shade. So, and Riddle Girl says she's using her chat thing on her phone. It's totally safe.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, yes. Riddle Girl is the brains behind the operation. She's our tech girl.
Yeah, if you need a computer, anything technical, computer-wise, that's the one I go to.
We should call her Tech Girl instead of Riddle Girl. You should change
There
her
you
name.
go. That
I
might
got
be
a
a
huge
thought.
seed. Stan says he's got a huge seed bank. My seeds might be worth gold this year. Well, let's just look at this, Stan. Look at all. If you go to the USDA and look at their food projections for this year, right? And just compare the projections from last year to now. They're saying that there's going to be, I think, 1 billion more pounds of crop. But how is that whenever the entire Midwest was underwater and none of those crops they're still in the field rotting? So how did we get more when we're going to have less?
From China?
We're not getting it from there either. I've been letting some of my garden go to seed every year. Yeah, I do too, Stan. I collect all my seeds. Yep, heirloom's the way to go. Also, I do it's a project that I learned from another guy, but I do seed bombs every year. So I'll go buy the 20-cent seed packets and mix up my soil and put it in the cupcake tins, and I'll put a mixture of seed in each one, beneficial plants, all for like a permaculture garden, and I'll ball them up. And as I drive down the road and through the countryside, I'll throw them out, right? So I'll put marigold seed or some kind of fruit, maybe a strawberry plant, whatever, and I'll chuck them out as I'm going to the countryside. You can also do it in hiking trails and stuff like that. But what you're essentially doing is you're repopulating the wildflowers and stuff that have been either lost to forest fire or overgrazing or people picking them that they didn't replant. So that's a good project. I'll post up a video about that whenever I do them, like I did my fire bricks. Everybody thought was pretty funny. So, but yeah, same concept. I mean, if you're putting wildflowers back into the just think of all the wildflowers that are lost, the beneficial plants. So everybody's always about the bees are dying. And they're going, well, why is that? Well, think about it. Everything's getting turned into a parking lot. So if a big box store goes into a place and that field once hosted butterfly milkweed for butterflies and just other wildflower blends, and they were naturalized there, and then they go in there and scrape the ground clean and turn it into a parking lot. There's why we're seeing a drop in honeybees, because everything's turned into a concrete jungle. Even in rural areas, I mean, think about how much wildlife and wild plants are destroyed when they go into a small town and put a huge Walmart there, okay? And it's the cumulative effect, because they're not just putting in the Walmart. They're going to put in Taco Bell, McDonald's, and and it starts growing from there. So you're destroying all that, and the bees have nowhere to go. Just like the animals, you'll see the animals everywhere, coming back to places Like the Canadian geese, for example, they'll come back to the same place every year until they die, and then their offspring will too. And there's places in Indiana that are killing them because they're pooping on the sidewalks, and it's an inconvenience.
Mm.
But they were there before we were there, and you just want to keep, your urban sprawl. So, that's another thing that pisses me off to the 10th power.
Yeah, priorities.
What's pretty cool or freaking cool there, Riddle Girl, that we should change your name to Tech Girl?
Maybe.
I have extra seed packets I've saved from buying over the years, heirloom as well. They that I've never planted, but I'm like a kid in a candy store when I see a seed rack. Yes, so am I. My wife hates it. Ben Taco Bell goes and grow taco flour. Same as the gun store. Never enough ammo. Yeah, you can't ever have enough ammo. I mean, that's like makeup. Makeup, your wife can't ever have enough makeup or purses. So.
Hey, I always tell the wife I've got to invest in precious metals, and lead is a precious metal. I've got bars. Yeah.
So on the flower thing, it's not illegal. You're not growing any, like if you were throwing out marijuana seeds, because somebody will probably take that and run with it. But if you do malicious stuff, you're probably gonna get in trouble. But the seed bombs, yeah, they're really cool because like as you drive down the road, you see something that you planted, right? I mean, and you didn't have to do a whole lot of work. I mean, just you're putting back into the environment what somebody else has taken away.
Yeah.
So, I mean, make sure they're not noxious seeds that are, some states say that some plants are noxious seeds. And so, but if it's a natural plant that's from that area and you buy a 5-pound sack of it and you're just putting them back out there, you're not doing any harm. You're just helping out the environment.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Definitely look into that. I don't know what grows naturally around here. I mean, this is a desert, so we don't have a lot of flowers. And bees, there are no honeybees in Arizona, so it's all killer bees. So I don't, it's one of those things. Do I really want to be attracting them too much? I mean, I do with my garden, but at the same time, better have a garden.
Yeah, I mean, you can just walk around your neighborhood, and spots that that aren't mowed, you can toss them in there, and then they'll take root, and then every year, as long as they're perennials or biennials, they'll self-seed, and then they'll spread. The birds will find them, they'll spread them, and then all you're really doing is it's a glorified beauty project that doesn't require the city to get millions of dollars and stuff to do.
Right.
And I've long said that they should plant fruit trees in all the parks so that people that visit these parks can just eat the fruit. I mean, just could you imagine how much healthier we would be if homeless people had access to fruit, or even just the general person that's walking through the park that uses the park on a regular,
We have some of that here. Not necessarily like in the city, right? But outside in the suburbs of the city, like in Mesa. I know when we lived in Mesa, there's a lot of orchard farmers out there, and they allow homeless people to pick. I mean, it's right off the road. I mean, literally, you're walking on the side of the road, and you can just pick an orange. It's a lot of citrus. It's not all the fruits, because around here citrus grows really well. So you got oranges and lemons and grapefruit, but it's something.
Riddle Girl posted up. Oh, okay. Let me go to Stan's here. Stan says we have a lot of wild berries around here, which is why we have a lot of deer and therefore coyote. We have the same problem, and I plant beneficial plants like that for the deer and turkey to come in. So the coyotes are just, the rabbits are going to come in and eat the stuff off the ground. So that's the reason why the berries and stuff are so controversial. But I mean, it's nature. I mean, that's what you want. You want it to bring it in, because if you ever have to use that resource and eat the deer or the coyote or the rabbits, you want to have it there in place. Riddle Girl says, when I worked at a previous job, they would always hand out postcards that had wildflower seeds on them and asked us to spread them around. And I thought that was pretty cool. I actually have a project that I'm working on that I'm going to do the same thing. I've been in contact with a seed company, and we're going to start labeling the packages with our name and farm and stuff. and we're going to do that too. We're just going to add them as a perk. If you order something from us or you support us, we're going to go ahead and send you out a pack of seeds so that you can start planting. A little step for everyone, would make a huge difference. So,
Right.
Tony says Mickey D's. Yeah, I hate that place. I mean, the only thing I drink their unsweet tea. So my kids love chicken nuggets, but I hate to even take them there. So.
I mean, for the most part, I'm with you on that, But as a fat guy, I've loved Mickey D's in the past many a time. And even though I don't like their burgers and most of their foods, even their nuggets, it's mostly like a gelatin and just machine picked white meat here and there, but mostly gelatin. So I'm not a real big nugget fan, but I'll tell you, the one thing I still wouldn't pass down I wouldn't now because I'm trying to watch my weight, but it would be the fries. Man, dude, I can't. No. Even now, we go out and about doing town stuff, and we get close to Mickey D's, and you get that fry smell. It's a trigger for me.
So Stan's saying that in Florida, people have oranges and stuff just rotting their lawns and grapefruits. Okay, so I grew up in Florida, and I seen some of that, but that's just laziness. They're not picking them up. So that's laziness. Like we grew oranges, grapefruits, which I hate grapefruits. My aunt loved them. And different. I think we had bananas. We had all kinds of weird fruit because my aunt and uncles also farmed and canned food. But yeah, if you just collected those and gave them away, a good deed, right? Just do a good deed.
It depends on how much you can give away. We've had that around here, where my wife works, and even other places. People will come in with boxes because their fruit trees that they have in their backyard in the city produce so much fruit that they can't give it all away sometimes. It's just too much. Not to mention the lemons down here grow about the size of a grapefruit. So, who wants a lemon the size of a grapefruit?
Okay, well, let's explore that option for you, okay? Now, everybody sees that as a nuisance, right? I can't give it away, but there's places that'll buy that. Like, there's a new place, like Misfit Fruits and Vegetables or something like that. You could contact them, they'll buy that. You can also contact places that make jellies and jams, and they'll buy that stuff for you. So what you're leaving laying in the yard to rot could net you $50, $60, $100 a season. You know what I'm saying? But people are just really too lazy to go out and get it, or to go out and do the research to find out, hey, can I use it here? You could turn it into fruits and, fruit jams and jellies at your house. So, there's options. People need to go out and search for it. Instead of watching your football game or your 16 hours of whatever you're watching on TV, put some thought process in it. Everybody's always, I got a side hustle. Well, if you got stuff like that growing in your backyard, that should be your side hustle. Everybody eats every day. So, why not? If you have that in your backyard, put it to work for you. What's
a
going to
lot
take?
of people have that in their backyard around here, though. So I don't know. Maybe there's just too many people that have it. Because if you have 10 or 20 people at your job, all bringing in, the same citrus, lemons and oranges, eventually people just flood the market with it, and that's when you can't give it away.
Well, in that case, maybe you guys all should pull together and contact a company and say, hey, we have a combined, a pallet load of this. Are you interested in it? And then you could take that money and take all your coworkers out to eat on it or something. You see what I'm saying? You just have to think outside the box. It's,
Yeah, maybe some of them do. I don't even know, bro.
I'm not directing it toward you. I'm just saying in general. Like, I collect coffee grounds from any place that'll give them to me. I'll take a 5-gallon bucket in there, have the business number wrote on it, and put coffee grounds, tea grounds, and I will go in and ask the manager, say, hey, can I leave this in your kitchen or in an area? And whenever you guys are done with your coffee grounds, brewing your coffee in the morning and your tea or whatever, will you please dump them in here? And I'll come in once a week or, as needed and pick them up. And I'll bring them out here and I'll put them into compost, and it's actually a slow release nitrogen. So that's a easy way. You're saving them money by, taking them because they're not putting them in the trash. You're not putting it in the landfill, and you're actually doing, your soil a favor. So you're building your soil by taking somebody else's trash. The same way with newspapers, anything like that. Most people send, it's unbelievable that they sell bags at the, like Home Depot and stuff to put your lawn waste in, like your lawn clippings and stuff. But you'll spend $90 to $100 for a bag of fertilizer. Whenever you're throwing the fertilizer away, you're having to haul it off and put it into to a landfill. So, and moving on. So, we can talk. I could talk about that all day. That's just the aggravation of people not recycling stuff. And I don't mean like your cans and stuff like that. I'm talking about the stuff that you waste, yard waste, stuff like that. It's just ridiculous. Tactical Tony says, no, we need to spread weed. Actually, the hemp is actually pretty good stuff, man. I'm looking into that. On March 20th, I'm going to a class on that, actually. Let's see. Oh, Tony's eating at Mickey D's right now. Stan says, let me know the side Irish. Might order some seeds. Okay. Will do. I'm currently working with my my internet people here. So the only problem with the website is I won't get the updates fast enough. And I want to make sure that if I have the website up, that I have it up, but I want to make sure that I can send the stuff out and get the notices that I sold something. So that's my biggest problem. As soon as that's taken care of, we'll launch the website out for everybody to go check out, and we can go from there. While you guys talk about fruit, Tony, don't eat that crap. It's bad for you. Our provincial government has been paying farmers to take out their orchards. Yeah, well, see, my big problem with the government is they want me to pay to plant a tree in my yard. They want, even in the county, they want you to pay to plant a tree, get a permit to plant a tree. Why would you do that? Like, that makes no sense. I mean, I get it.
Like HOA kind of thing.
Yeah, I would never do that either.
Yeah.
Riddle Girl says, I got a text message from a coworker asking me if I was going to wear my Darth Vader mask because apparently we got another incident of COVID-19 and 10 here, COVID in Tempe, Arizona.
Yeah, I don't know. She's using voice to chat, so she's saying it, and sometimes it doesn't catch the text right.
Okay.
So that's why that probably doesn't make much sense. But yeah, apparently we have another case of COVID-19 in MP.
It doesn't help that, my mumble mouth. So pig farmers will even take off. Yeah, that's a good point. Farmers will take that stuff and use it for feed, right? And it's pretty much organic unless you're spraying some nasty pesticide on it. So Tony says, Tone says beer. Okay. Business insurance companies are stopping them from doing it for liability reasons. The orchards.
Oh, he's talking about when you were saying selling a whole bunch, getting everybody together and selling their fruit to big companies. So he's saying that the company's business insurance wouldn't allow it because of liability reasons. And I kind of see that because, it was out, they already have a place where they get their fruits from for their company.
Mm-hmm.
And accepting it from anybody else, first of all, it's going to piss off the people they're already getting it from. And second of all, they're going to use the excuse. Now, I don't know how much this is, but we don't know what you did to that fruit. You could have injected it with, things that would kill people. So they're not going to take the chance.
So a company that I've been talking with over the past couple months is the Misfits Market, and that's the place I was talking about. So I'll post a link in there in the chat so you guys can see that and check that out. But that's a place that's, they'll take your fruits and stuff and they'll send them out to people in boxes. It's kind of like a glorified CSA. You pay and they ship you stuff. So Saints and Sapper says freeze dryer. Yes. Actually, Mother Earth News, I know it's a pain in the butt to go there and check stuff out, but they have free plans to build a outdoor solar dehydrator. So if you can't afford a freeze dryer, you can always create a solar dehydrator. And depending on where you live, you could do it all year round if you wanted to. Roto Girl, let's see, let's go back up here. Sounds like passive income to me, yes. We have bags of grapefruit right now. I'm at work now. Bye. Okay, bye. I'm at work 24/7, so it doesn't stop, except for this little chat that we do. There will be a lot of shortages this year because of low production of fruits and veggies in China. Well, and just in the United States, I mean, go look at the devastation from the flooding, in the Midwest. So I told my wife, I was like, if you want to stock up on meat, you need to do it because meat prices are going to be low right now. But once the shortage of grain for next year or for this fall, people are going to sell off, all their cows, and it's going to skyrocket,
That's a good idea. Like for people in the city like myself, if there's a good price on meat, that's a good time to stock up, and you can either deep freeze it or can it. And I have a canner. I don't have a deep freezer, but I could definitely can a few.
But prices are down now because they still have grain. But once the grain goes away and they can't feed the animals during the winter, they're going to sell them all off, and then that's going to raise the price of the beef and everything because they're not going to be able to feed them through the winter. So next year, I forecast that there's going to be high prices on beef and stuff like that because they're not going to, not a lot of people's not going to do it. And if they do, it's going to cost them more money because you have to buy hay, and some places do finish off with corn and grain. So, I mean, think about that. If we don't have enough to feed the people of the United States, you think the animals are going to suffer from that too? So that's something to look at. Stan says, domestic farmers surely to gain this year. That's another thing, like it's a misnomer because I was explaining to Poison Stinger here that think about a kale or a spinach can be harvested 20 times in the same space it takes to grow one head of broccoli. So if you can make $20 a bundle off organic spinach or something, or you could sell it 20 times versus that one head of broccoli that takes the same space, are you going to really make a profit? Somebody has to grow it, but the person that's growing it does it because they care. That's what their passion is. But the person that wants to make money and actually have a farm longevity, they're going to grow whatever it sells the best in the least amount of time. So there's a whole big thing on organic farming. I'll do morning guns coast to coast. Says it should be a law where you have to travel abroad 6 months of your life and have to own your own hog from birth to butchering once in your life. I believe, you should probably go to a few third world countries and see what it's like. I did in the military, and it gives you a better appreciation.
I would disagree. I would disagree with the swine. I mean, I don't really care for dirty meat. Can we do that with a goat? Because I've done that with a goat.
Yeah, your choice of meat.
Right.
The only thing I like is bacon, so I don't eat pork chops or any of that. But yeah, your choice. I mean, if you don't like swine, get something it's palatable to you. Some people are kosher, and so yeah, to get whatever it is you can do and learn and take care of that animal and butcher it. I mean, we still deer hunt, we still fish, we squirrel. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that people turn their nose up to, so. Yeah,
I don't. I mean, in the right situation, and I'm hungry and I have to live off the land, I'm eating me a squirrel. I mean, I've never done it, but I ain't afraid to do it either. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if I can avoid eating unclean meat, I do at all costs. Although I do like a pepperoni pizza. That is, everybody's got their weaknesses. That's mine.
Yeah. So Stan said as soon as I said the magic virus word, the Corona and Lyme, that his computer started buffering. Well, here's one for you. I can't even use my video.
You've been flagged, bro.
The past two chats that we said virus or the Corona bug, they won't allow my video to work. So
maybe you need to title it like support Bernie Sanders or something.
Well, you notice when I put elderberry or something like that or gardening, they don't care.
Yeah.
But then we also don't get anybody in here. It's like they don't notify anybody. So then I posted the link about Misfit Market for everybody to check out to sell your fruits and vegetables to them. And then it says, I guess it's not the production, but the fact that you get their harvest to the market from China because of the virus. Yeah, I mean, why do we send food out of here when people are starving in the United States? Why, we have a welfare program, and I believe the wife was telling me we'll be able to accept the EBT is what it's called, which is basically a supplement program for people that are too poor to purchase groceries. But we'll at the new farm, we'll be able to accept that like you would in a grocery store, so people can come out and buy fresh fruits and vegetables and pick their own if they want, because we're going to have a self-service orchard. So you can go out and pick your fruits and vegetables, or experience what it's like on the farm. A goat works says coast to coast, low supply, create high demand. I don't discriminate. I like most of the planet's tasty creatures. Yes, me too. Everyone's so nice here. Where you've never been to Tennessee, Tony. You've never been to Tennessee, Tony.
Oh, I see. He's talking about out there. Yeah, Southern hospitality is a thing, and it's nice, dude. I enjoyed the fuck out of it. It's a lot better where I'm at.
Oh, well, a lot of people, and I say a lot because there is a lot, have grown up with moral values and stuff. And they were taught by their grandparents and their parents. Not all, but a lot. Like you'd be surprised when we go out to eat, the entire family, me and 5 or 6 of the kids and the wife, and my kids will open the door for people, and people will stop and shake your hand and tell you thank you. And we've had people come to our table and say, hey, can we pay for your meal? Your kids were a delight. They weren't being retarded and screaming and yelling and throwing stuff and being ignorant. And that's all because they were raised right.
Yeah.
My grandmother.
Tony hasn't experienced this, man. I've experienced it here and there, but he's been in Vegas for however long. That is the total opposite of what he's experiencing now.
Right. Yeah, and it's true. Like I see it all the time. You'll see kids that are acting, just acting a full buck wild, and the parents will be like, I'm going to take you to the bathroom. I'm going to take you to the bathroom. And the kid just sits there and laughs at him and does what he wants to, And we weren't raised that way. My grandma would have snatched me up right there and busted my tail, and there was nothing nobody would have said about it, Or my mother.
In front of everybody, and they would have probably applauded too.
Yeah. Don't confuse with Southern hostilities. We got them too. Yeah, I agree. I mean, you don't. Yeah. Well, that's a Marine thing, anyways. Don't confuse my my kindness for her weakness.
Yeah.
I'm your best friend, but I'm your worst fucking enemy.
There's
no doubt about that.
They'll always help you out if you're trying. Boy, if you try to take advantage of the situation or whatever, man, they'll be the first one to kick you in the ass. Yeah.
I mean, for sure. Like some of these old timers, they'll go out of their way to help you. They'll come 100 miles to help you. You know what I'm saying? But it's phenomenal to see. Like I've stopped and helped people, and this is not a good to me. I'm just trying to explain. Like I'll stop and help somebody that's broke down on the side of the road, right? Yeah. And the people say, "Well, why did you do that?" Well, you needed help. We've stopped, and people that are displaced or homeless, or we stopped and helped the guy out. Like I stopped and said, "Hey, man, do you need anything?" And it was just phenomenal. I didn't post it on Facebook or Twitter or anything like that. It's just because you do it for the kindness of your heart. And the guy asked me, he goes, "Why'd you do this for me?" And I was like, "Man, I was like you at one time. I didn't have a place to live. I don't know your situation, but I was out here in the world on my own, and a helping hand is a helping hand. I don't want anything from it. I don't want you to tell anybody. And you know, like I said, most people that do stuff like that, I stopped and gave a homeless man $20. Okay, well, I went from the place where I seen the guy. I said, hey, hang out, man, because he was drinking his water in the shade. I got him a water. And he didn't want to go with us. I would have took him somewhere, you know. But I went home and got a brand new pack of socks, toilet paper, you know, hygiene products, a pack of beef jerky, some, you know. And I didn't know what the guy ate, but I got stuff that, you know, that I would eat on the trail, you know, like if you were hiking or something or camping. And I took it back to him and I gave him $20. I said, here. I was like, and that's when he asked me, he said, well, why'd you do that? I was like, man, I've been down on my luck before too. And I'm not saying that's what's your problem. I mean, you may be out here on your own, but I mean, just to give you a replenishment to your stuff, you know.
Yeah, we did something similar to that recently, and I'll tell you what, it's rewarding as all hell. I'm not going to go into details either because it's not about, you know, bragging on what we did either, but it is rewarding. It's very rewarding to help somebody like that in need. Now, I can't do it every time with every homeless person because here in Phoenix, there's a homeless person on every street corner, like every street corner. So there's only so much you can do. But the one that I'm referring to, me and my wife found was a family of a mother and a father and two kids. And we helped them out, hopefully enough, because they had something coming up that they were hoping for, and I hope that they got it. But yeah, the reward there is definitely worth doing, and I would recommend, if you can, to not just, you know, hand them a $5 out your window, but actually lift them up and do something a little extra and beyond what normally somebody would do, like offer them a place to stay for the night or offer them an actual meal. You know, you don't always have to offer them money if you're worried that they're just going to go spend it on alcohol or drugs, right? Take them out to eat.
Yeah.
Take them to a restaurant, you know, take them to Goodwill to buy some clothes or something like that, you know, give them a hand up.
Yeah, I mean, just an act of kindness. Yeah. I mean, hell, if I was out hiking and somebody came across the trail and said, hey, we're leaving, here's a couple bottles of water and some protein bars. We're not gonna use them. I mean, that's just, you know, stuff like that goes a long way.
That wouldn't fly here in the city, boy.
Why is that?
Oh, if somebody that you don't know offers you water or protein bars, they haven't, you know, because there a lot of people hike, you know, mountains out here. No, they would turn that down in a heartbeat. They would never accept that because they're so worried that somebody's going to poison them, or you know. Yeah, you don't do that, man. And they would walk away from you like you were the craziest motherfucker they ever seen. I can't believe that. I was trying to offer us stuff.
Yeah, it's not like that here. Like, there's a few places, like trailheads, that you can go out and leave supplies for people. You know, stuff like that. Like, because a lot of the trails don't have running water on them. Most of them do, but there's some that don't. And people will go out and buy sealed jugs of water and leave them out there for people, you know. So at the trailhead. So if you, I mean, stuff like that. But when you're walking down the highway or, you know, the back roads of the United States, I'm not saying you pick them up in the middle of the darkness and get murdered, but I mean, you know. Saints Sapper says, give them an MRE, the non-vegetarian one. Yeah, give them an MRE, and they won't have to go to the bathroom. So you don't need to give them the toilet paper.
At least give them one of the ones that had the cigarettes in it.
Oh, no, they've came a long way. My wife was looking at them and said that they have pizza slices and all kinds of stuff. Man, the ones we had were in the dark brown, the dark brown MREs, and they were no good. Guns Coast to Coast says it's called it's trail magic. Is that what they call it, where you leave stuff for people? I know they do it along the big trails in Tennessee and stuff too. So a lot of people.
I mean, I know people leave water out in the desert down south near the border around here. Those are liberals that are trying to help out the coyotes. But really, leaving water out here in the desert anywhere during the summer is not necessarily a great idea. If you're you know, you need a drink because you're dehydrated or whatever, the last thing you want to do is be drinking water that's been out in 120-degree heat all day long and hot as all hell.
Yeah. I mean, that's just the way we are here. I mean, a lot of people still have, that mentality.
No, and that's great. That's why we got on the whole thing with Tony being nice people, and it is, man. It depends on where you go. Obviously, the bigger the city, the more rude people are. But boy, even in Arizona, though, if you get out of the big city and you go to some of the small towns, a lot nicer people. People hold the door open for you everywhere.
Yeah,
everybody. Yeah. Down here in the city, you get looked at funny if you're holding the door open for somebody.
Yeah, I mean, you'd be surprised at how a kind word would be like, have a great day. I mean, just saying that to somebody, even if your day's shitty, I mean, their day may be shitty too, but somebody saying, "Hey, have a great day," or listening to them for a second because whatever, just spread good karma. I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And Guns Coast to Coast says, yes, that's also okay. So trail magic is leaving stuff behind for others that you're not going to use or they might need. Yeah, I mean that's just and that's probably a hiking community thing, but I don't know. I was in Boy Scouts. I was a Marine. I am a Marine. That was. So I mean, there's a lot of situations. I mean, there's just so many. Whenever Florida was on fire in the late 90s, we would go from after we got off work at the base and go help the firefighters fight the forest fires in Jacksonville, Florida. You didn't have to. Nobody made us, but a bunch of us guys from the barracks would go and help the firefighters because, I mean, they're getting their balls worked off and they're not doing anything. The fires just kept spreading and it was going across the roadway. I mean, it was horrible. But there was one or two guys manning a fire truck, so we would go out and help them. And at the time, I didn't have firefighting training. I went to firefighting school afterwards, but like, there's just stuff like that, everybody else is going on about their way and not caring about these people that are out there giving their life to save yours and protect your homes and stuff. But you can't even get out there and help them for a couple hours. So Stan says geocaching, or like up north here where they have survival cabins stocked throughout certain areas. Well, that's cool. Yeah. So is that in Canada, Stan, where they have like cabins stocked up for people? Guns Coast to Coast says it's really big on the Appalachian Trail. Yeah, that's what I was referring to. I couldn't think of the name, man. I got a few TBIs in my service record book, so I have brain farts when it comes to thinking it's right in front of me. Stan says in the street urchins in the Central Business District is the largest problem. My daughter watches them get arrested at her store downtown daily. A lot of mental health problems out here on the street.
Some of them want to get arrested, and if I was homeless, I think I'd want to get arrested too, because that's 3 hots in a cop.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people. I mean, I don't know about the mental health problem. I mean, yeah, that's a touchy subject because I mean, I don't know. I feel like
a lot of the homeless people out here that are truly homeless probably have a mental problem, and I don't go and talk to them about it or whatever, but you can kind of plainly see that they're not all there. Now, whether that's, a brain defect or whether that's a large drug issue that they've had for however long, I have no idea.
Yeah, I have
it could be that too.
I have no tolerance for the drug issues, I've dealt with that and with family members, and I have no tolerance for it, man. I mean, I live the same life as some of my family members, grew up the same way, and I don't use drugs and alcohol like that. So, and everybody has their own weaknesses and stuff, but like I feel like that's just an excuse. Some people say addiction is a disease, but I don't feel that way, man. I think you could have problems, but you can work through them and find a way to go around them. And if not, you can seek medical help to help you. But I mean, man started out, if you believe the theory of evolution, or even that we were put here by aliens, or God put us here, or whatever you believe in. But it's proven that protein made us smarter, and that's why we're not like chimpanzees. Like, protein put us here. So if you're not having a protein-rich diet, then it affects your brain. It's scientifically proven. So, I mean, the cleaner you eat and the better you eat is going to help you. So, I mean, but if you're on drugs, I just don't understand that, man. Like, I can't. I see
We
that.
all have our vices, right?
I
I
know.
mean, everybody has an addictive personality to a certain extent, right? Like for me, I've had a few addictions in the past. Nothing drug related, right? But I'm addicted to caffeine. I was addicted to nicotine, for a very long time, and I'm still kind of wishing. I sometimes I really wish I could have a cigarette, even though I haven't smoked in like 10 years. But that I do have that addictive thing, and whether it be, people don't even realize that you can be addicted to caffeine, and that's kind of bad for you too. If you don't have any kind of addictions, like you're not addicted to anything, I stand up and salute you for that. But for me, I always have a vice of some sort, and now trying to get healthier and all that, having no vice, trying to have no vice has been really difficult, and it's a struggle for me. But because even now I'm like, okay, well, if I'm not gonna smoke, I'm not gonna vape, I'm not gonna eat bad carbs, right? I'm gonna watch what I eat and stuff like that. Okay, well, I like pickles. I can eat pickles. No, you can't eat pickles because they friggin' have a ton of salt. So okay, I can't have a lot of salt. And I'm trying to find something that I can grab onto and be like, this is my thing and this is my vice. Because, dude, I don't know how to live without a vice. I've had a vice for all my life, pretty much.
I'd say my weakness is my Jim Stepani pre-workout, post-workout, but water with lemon. I hate to drink water. I know it's a necessary evil, and I pound the water down every day, but I prefer it with lemon. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I was a big soda drinker. I'm not as much as I used to be. I drink a lot of water. I haven't tried the lemon in the water. I mean, I've had lemon water before, but never been a huge fan of it. Now with the Zevia, I think it's called Zevia sodas. I don't mind drinking those too much because they don't have any sodium. They don't have any. We can get them without caffeine, but you can also get them with caffeine. But they don't have any coloring, so they're all clear, crystal clear, which is really strange when you're drinking a cherry cola and it's crystal clear. But that's you kind of, I'm trying to find alternatives that aren't so bad, and that one's really not bad at all. There's everything on it's a zero. So when I have a craving for a soda, which I do occasionally, that's when I reach for one of those, and I don't feel that bad about it. But for the most part, I'm on the water and things like that. But it's a process.
Stan says yes. In the northern areas for popular hiking, cross-country skiing, they have cabins in the remote areas that are stocked for emergencies.
That's cool.
So that's yeah. I understand. You're like I said, I like the energy drinks. I get the ones that have amino acids and stuff in them, coenzyme Q10 and electrolytes. But I try to steer. I don't drink any sugar, sodas, anything like that.
Electrolytes, that's just a fancy word for salt, bro.
Yeah. Well, there's
Sodium.
different kinds of salts. There's the one that's in these are oral rehydration salts, and they taste really crappy if you've ever had them. But you need them if you're going to be sweating or working outside. So I'm saying like drugs, hard drugs that like, stuff. And like I said a long time ago, hey, just make them all legal, and God will sort it out. But
yeah, I'm under that thought.
Yeah. Stan says the system benefits by them staying in the need of it. Yeah, of course. I mean, the drug companies make all that money, and you have to want to fix it first.
Look at all of the stuff, the whole thing. Don't be self-reliant. Trust on the government. We're here from the government. We're here to help. You don't need a gun. Well, you got the police. We're only a few minutes away.
Yeah.
All this stuff. Don't save money. Have a 401k. we'll save your money. You got Medicare. Don't worry. We got you.
Yeah.
And it's all designed to make you more not self-sufficient, but reliant on the government to provide for you. Because if you're relying on the government or anybody else to rely on them and not on yourself, then you're their slave. Plain and simple, you're a slave.
I heard on the radio the day when I was driving around that they said that you need to start putting your kids outside for at least an hour of an activity, because technology is corrupting their body and stuff and making them fat and tired and lazy, basically. So, I mean, that's the problem. Like, you're not doing anything with your mind, but checking what somebody liked on social media. And I post on there on occasion, but I'm not addicted to it. I don't stay on it 24/7. I don't get a vibration on my phone and automatically pick it up. I don't have time, because why? I'm doing something productive. I'm planting, I'm making stuff, fulfilling orders, I'm doing stuff and you have to, like Stan says, you have to want to fix it first. So if there's a will, there's a way. And you may want to be homeless, and hey, that's fine if that's the way you want to be. That's perfectly okay. If you, that's the essential off-grid living right there. But if you want to be homeless because you can stand out there and make $50 and get your fix, I don't agree with that. But
homeless people make a lot of money, dude. And we have a problem around here that there are a lot of people who are on the street begging, saying they're homeless, that aren't homeless at all. I've actually seen one of them was done with their begging and goes into their nice friggin' car. And you can kind of tell a few of them, because some of them will still wear really nice shoes because you're standing all day.
Yeah.
So they'll be wearing like these really newer, nice shoes. And sometimes that's how you can tell. But yeah, there's a lot of them like that.
Satan Zapper says that the French government seized all stocks of face masks.
That's some bullshit. What? So was that like door to door? Like, hey, Mr. and Mrs. whatever your French name is?
Probably, there's a guess here, but probably from warehouses and stuff.
Yeah.
That's probably what he's talking about. I don't think they would go door to door. I don't think, the French people would allow that. They tell them to pound sand too,
I don't know. They allow a lot going on there in France. Not a big fan.
Stan says you can be addicted to anything. Yeah, that's true. Money's the largest addiction. Our supply line problems in Canada are exacerbated. I can't say that.
Exacerbated.
Yeah.
You got to say it fast.
Exacerbated.
There you go.
By the native rail blockades. I don't know what that's about. The native lands.
Are Indian blockading the rail lines?
Maybe that's probably what he's talking about. They don't want the railroads running through their native land. So the effect of supply from China will be 10 times worse in Canada. They did an expose in Toronto where they followed one to her new Mercedes. Wow.
Yeah, I'm telling you, dude. I don't remember the car, but it was a nice luxury car, the one I saw, and it wasn't even that. That was here in Phoenix. So it's a thing. They make good money, like hundreds and hundreds of tax-free dollars,
right,
by standing out there.
So I'll touch on that. Like, that's why people don't want to do nice things for people, is because you have trash like that. There's a special place in hell for those people. Okay, that's all I can say. That's all I can say. If you can go home at night and sleep knowing that you robbed people who probably didn't have the money to give you anyway, but did so out of the kindness of their heart.
Yeah, the people that give to homeless people usually are the people that could use a handout themselves. I know I've given to people a few times where it was like, wow, that's all my cash. I guess I ain't spending nothing else this week. I mean, I'm not homeless, right? And I do try to check their shoes to make sure they wear nice sneaks. But
even in that aspect, I mean, like if I was to go buy somebody a pair of new shoes, though, you can't automatically determine this. So see, there's the moral compass problem right there. If I stopped and said, hey man, what do you need? And you said, hey, I need a bottle of vodka. Okay, at least you're honest with me, right?
Right.
And if I want to buy you that bottle of vodka, then I'll buy it for you. But if you said, hey, I need new shoes, And then the next 10 people came through. It's like, oh, I ain't giving you nothing because you got new shoes. You know what I'm saying? But that also plays on their character. So, like, if you're a piece of trash and you're out there doing it for your own personal gain, I mean, I guess it's all personal gain. But if you're doing it to buy your Gucci bags,
You
or
don't
whatever,
need it. Yeah, you don't need it. To be honest, you're doing it as a job and pretending to be somebody in need. Yeah.
Yeah, it says we have natives blocking rail lines, but it's not the real natives. It's eco groups that co-opting natives to push the agenda. They're protesting land rights and pipelines. Yeah, I heard some stuff like that, but I didn't know. It's not right in my backyard, so I don't keep up with it. But that's interesting.
The image in my head with that was hilarious.
Now, here's a question I pose: these eco people what are they doing? They're out here saying, "Oh, we don't want this running through here," but are they planting trees anywhere else?
No, they're just
are they doing any justice for anybody? Are they teaching people how to plant gardens or to do anything productive? No, they have money to just stand around and do nothing. So maybe they should invest their time into doing something that's really productive for the environment, like replanting stuff in places that it was burnt down or cut down. And it says, when doing home appliance delivery, the best tippers were the middle and lower income people. Yeah, because they understand. Like I understand that stuff happens, and if you willfully done it, or it just happened to be bad luck. I mean, things happen. But if you continuously keep doing it, then I'm not going to feel sorry for you. But if you're down on your luck, and I know you're down on your luck. I mean, we bought Christmas presents for people's kids that couldn't afford it because they lost their job, or stuff like that. We do toys for tots. Every time we see toys that are clearanced out, and we can buy a whole bunch of them, so we can provide for more than just one person. I mean, we'll donate the big tubs full of toys every year to Toys to Tots. And that's close to me because, I'm a Marine, and the Marines support that. So Toys for Tots is a Marine organization. So, we do that because there's kids that don't get stuff. And a big thing for me is I know, and you can see it in the stores, maybe not where you live, but if you go to stores, you'll see people using their EBT cards to buy soda that they can take out in the parking lot and sell to somebody else.
Well, I didn't buy something to sell it, but I mean, when we were on EBT for a little bit when we were in Wisconsin, and I did not have the greatest eating habits at the time. Let's just say that. So all the junk food, which is funny, is later on I went to this place to get healthy or whatever, and they figure out the nutrients in your body through a blood test or whatever, and it came back, dude. At this time I'm 400 pounds, right? And it comes back that I'm malnourished, and that blew me away. I'm like, how the hell am I severely malnourished, right? It was because I'm eating junk. I wasn't eating good foods.
Yeah. Well, that started out in the 70s. There's a couple good books on that, and I don't know them off the top of my head. I have them, but it's called Field to Harvest or something like that. I'll look it up and post it underneath the video after it's done. But essentially, box processed foods have no nutrient content. So however you're eating stuff, you're not getting nutrient content because the soil that the stuff that they're putting in these box foods is just calories. There's no
other issue, go ahead.
There's no nutrient content. And there's a couple, like I said, there's a couple good books I read about it. A guy out of Florida, he's a big time body. So he used to be a strong man, and I can't think of his name. Elliot Hulse. He owns his own business now, but he talks about a lot of this stuff, about how he spent all of his money on clean water and healthy food, because when he was in strongman, he was just essentially putting in calories, but there was no nutrient density in the food that he was consuming. So he was wasting his money and killing him and his family. He has a wife and 2 kids, I believe. But he was essentially killing his family by buying them stuff that was not nutrient dense. So there's a lot of scientific information about that out there, but nobody cares because, you know, organic or healthy foods twice the price of, you know, a box of macaroni and cheese. So
yeah. Well, back in that time period, right? The cheapest food that we could buy was like ramen noodles. You know, lived on ramen noodles. There ain't no nutrients in that.
Yeah, I love
ramen. Yeah, not really. And then you get the people who then get all the nutrient dense foods, right? They're like, oh, yeah, that stuff's crap. Let me buy all this stuff from Whole Foods or whatever, you know, and I got all this nutrient food. And then they cook it in a microwave. I'm like, a microwave kills all the nutrients. Like, you just defeated the whole purpose of doing that. So I avoid a microwave too. You there, Irish? All right. Well, I don't know where he's at. Let's see where we're at in chat. I'm doing a home appliance delivery. The best tippers were the middle to lower income people. Appliance deliverers get tipped? I did not know that, Stan. No, they're Soros funded groups. Oh, okay. Yeah, Soros funded. They only fight for the cause of money because they get paid to do it.
Yeah.
The golden rice had virtually no nutrients. I don't doubt that. Many GMOs tend to be nutrient deficient. I don't doubt that either, but I don't know.
And the reason why the genetically modified are nutrient deficient is because the soil, they're killing all the good beneficial bacteria in the soil, with the Roundup and other products that they use to kill the undergrowth. And for America or any country to get back to good soil and nutrients, it takes 3 years for the soil to rebuild itself. Once you start putting green manures back in the fields and tilling them under and stop using this crap. Now, they're not going to tell you that because it's easier to just feed you nutrient deficient foods and you die slowly and your body becomes, acidic and cancer thrives and all this other stuff because you have no nutrients. They've started pushing the multivitamin stuff many years ago. Why do you need a multivitamin? Because there's no nutrients in the soil that they're growing your food in. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of stuff that you can go look up on this, and it's not a conspiracy theory. It's the truth. If you do a soil sample, send it off. It's $25. They'll come back and tell you what's in your soil. Good beneficial bacteria, nutrient content, and stuff like that. And if you do one, you'll be surprised, and you'll immediately start taking those table scraps and turning them into compost and growing a square foot garden in your yard. You don't need grass. Grass is actually a nutrient robber. So grow your own food. Start small, get the hang of it, and then build on that every year. Add a different plant, add a different species of tomato or a different breed, and that'll go a long way. Just being healthy. Everybody wants to be healthy, but nobody wants to put in the time. This is in Reuters. Wuhan shake. Students in UK are practicing it in schools. I have the same story about that when I was a kid. My cousins got chicken pox, and we went over and stayed all night with them, and so we could get it done and over with. However, I don't know if that's the thing to do with this, because if it's a bioweapon, and I believe it is, then I don't think you should do that. So, but yeah, we could do a whole video. I could talk for a week about the soils being nutrient deficient because of all the stuff that they spray on the crops and stuff. Go out and look at the soil. You could, you can't drive a stake in it because it's so hard.
Yeah, the condensed soil is really bad, especially around here.
And then they sell at the big farm stores, you know, they'll sell you a compaction fighting agent, which helps loam the soil, but it's doing nothing really. I mean, it's just a synthetic version of humus.
I mean, that's why they always say, you know, in order to garden, you got to till your soil. I don't think you need to till it if you do it right, but it does help if you're not doing like a back to even garden or, you know, like a mulching garden, I guess.
Well, the tilling part actually brings the beneficial bacteria to the soil surface. And if you don't cover it with straw or something and leave it to the sun, the sun will, you know, bleach the soil and kill the bacteria, the good bacteria. So they say to fork it over, minimal mechanical use. I mean, I talk to a lot of farmers because I farm, but they'll tell you that they're stuck in the mindset because they think that they can't switch back over to the way it used to be because they're not going to make any money, and because they're stuck in that you know, mentality that we have to do it this way because that's the way it's been done and it's not working. So, well, guys and gals, it's been an hour and 40 and people are starting to fall off. Thank you for watching. I have to get to work. So thumbs up, thumbs down, bitches most complaints, leave them in the comment section below. I'll try to remember to get that book put on there so you can go look at that book and find it and read it. Get yourself educated. I'm Irish USMC Vet. That's Poison Stinger. And thanks for watching. You guys have a great day. Guys and gals. And I'm out of here.
See you.